Thank you very much, dear members of the panel, ladies and gentlemen. Let me walk you through my slides, if they appear. I hope we have to run through it and not having any power outage. So this is a big topic. I have put it in several parts, talking about EDOFs, trifocals, clinical data, halo glare, and then new technology. We have in Europe, or let's say overall in the world, several lenses available. The EDOF lenses have diffractive principles like the Symphony or the Lara. We have refractive lenses such as the Comfort lens from Lentis, spherical aberration modulations with a SIFI lens, or small aperture technology that you all know. So by the trifocal lenses at the moment, the LISA tree, the fine vision, the Panoptics and the Acriva are available in a lot of regions. So let's have a look how these lenses work. We can visualize in our lab, the David Appel lab in Heidelberg, the optical pathway showing where their foci and everything is. So if we look, for example, at the pinhole lens, there's nothing really special to find because it's just a pinhole taking out the peripheral rays, and you have this kind of a pattern here. If you look at the Comfort lens, which is a refractive low at bifocal, you can clearly see the two bifocal foci, and you can see also how this lens looks like because the segmental refractive lens. Comparing that with the Symphony, you see that you have this EDOF range, but you also see that there's an underlying bifocal technology in this diffractive lens. And the Miniwell also shows you a quite good EDOF performance, but also a small tide of bifocality, as you see here. What about the trifocal lens? So there's not so much difference here. You have the three foci based on the diffractive technology, regardless if it's by Panoptics or Artelisa or the fine vision lens. This is pretty similar with a little bit different if you put more light in far or near and so on. If you really look into the technique, we have these optical bench analysis done in my lab. There we see some differences here. The EDOF lenses, of course, the IC8 gives you excellent MTF for the distance, taking out all the other peripheral lights. But of course, it's only like a monofocal lens, and you just have the extended area. If you look at the other EDOF lenses, you see this kind of bifocal appearance in a way, as you can see here with the Symphony actually having a pretty good MTF for intermediate to near. The trifocal lenses are also pretty the same, but you see the Panoptics having the intermediate focus on 2.17 diopters. Really, it's a kind of fusion between the intermediate and the near focus, as you can see here. The data have shown that the EDOF lenses do what they promise. As you see here, a paper about the Symphony lens having broader depths of focus, but otherwise a very similar curve to a monofocal lens. The Miniwell also gives you a very good uncorrected intermediate, near, and distance acuity, as you can see here, and a decent defocus curve going up to like 2.5 diopters, as you see. The extended depth of focus lens from the IC8, here's Burkhardt's paper on the big European style, gives you very good results. The pinhole lens is put in the near dominant eye, and in the distant dominant eye, a monofocal lens has been applied. We have tried another combination where we put some more effort for the near, putting in the distance dominant eye multifocal lens, a bifocal lens, also with very nice outcomes. So the IC8 can be combined with EDOF or with multifocal technology quite well. The Oculentis Comfort, just having only 1.5 diopters near focus, still gives you a decent actually near acuity and of course a quite good intermediate acuity. This slide shows pretty good the differences between a monofocal, an EDOF, and trifocal lens. This is a monofocal, this is the EDOF lens, and this is the Panoptics, the trifocal lens. So in that area here, EDOF and trifocal are pretty much the same in the intermediate range, but if it comes down to 3 or 3.5 diopters, the trifocal lens gives you more security. And if you have 1.5 or 1.33 intermediate vision, near addition, or 2.1, this gives you the difference in this defocus curve. Otherwise, the trifocals are pretty much the same. Where are differences between these lenses? Well, we looked at the halo glare performance of these lenses with this simulator. And if you look at the pure numbers, you can get halo size, glare intensity, and so on in numbers. You can see, first of all, even monofocal lenses, especially glare, can be an issue with them. In general, EDOF lenses are less, and the trifocal lenses with the diffractive technology have still their problems with the halo intensity, as you can see here. But glare, for example, is not really such a big issue with trifocals. Here you see some average pictures of a monofocal, an EDOF lens, another EDOF lens, and trifocal. This is the Artelisa tree, so you can see the differences here. What are new technologies? Now companies trying to merge or to come out with kind of hybrid lenses. This is a mono EDOF from Santen. We're just doing a study. You have just 3-4 diffractive rings, getting a monofocal basic and then something like 1.5 diopter of defocus, which pretty good results and very low profile of halo glare. The Technis iHands is a monofocal lens also with enhanced intermediate uncorrected visual acuity based on it being a high asphere. Similar performance in the defocus curve, but more or less no halo glare. We will see now the Vivity from Alcon coming on the market. It's not a diffractive lens, but almost performs like a trifocal lens with increased vision in the near, so it's an improvement in this direction, very competitive actually, maybe even to the Panoptics, we will see that. But the biggest thing here is comparing like monofocal and Vivity, very low amounts of side effects, so this will be quite interesting. Other approaches is combining EDOF and multifocal technology like the Synergy from J&J, which also look for the chromatic aberration, spherical aberration, using a blue light filter, which also reduces scattering and getting a very elongated defocus curve covering all distances. The Triumph is also coming out now from Fine Vision, similar principle like the Synergy lens, I would say, combination of EDOF and diffractive technology. And here the idea is to have a smooth transition and not this gap that you sometimes have in the intermediate range when you talk about trifocal lenses. So all companies try but you have to balance it out. You cannot get everything. The lens that can see everywhere in excellent quality without any side effects is not possible. And that's actually the conclusion of this. There is no thing such as a free lunch in optics. We have to say that. And if a company comes to you and say they offer you a free lunch, then it definitely this kind of lunch. Thank you very much.